The laws of exponentiality when it comes to day trading is ridiculous, freaky, crazy, shouldn't be real. And I'm finally seeing it happen now for me personally. And no, not personally inside of my own bank account. Trust me, if it was in my own bank account, I wouldn't be making YouTube videos about this. But it's about a simulated trading model that I've been running on. I've been using it as a tool for the past 7-8 months. And it's getting kind of freaky right now. Like, freaky. Get your head out of the gutter. It's not what I meant. Okay, on the screen right now is a simulation since inception. It was in It started in the middle of June of 2025. And we're gonna simulate a $600 cash account. 5% of the account is traded per trade, which in turn was $30 contracts to start off with. Basically, you would trade 5% of your account value per month. You wouldn't change your sizing until the next month. And then in the next month, depending on what the returns are, you redistribute it all and you're still using 5% per trade. For the metric of the model, it's using the same $30 contracts per trade, and it's serving the returns as the return rate for the next month's capital. And so when you look at the chart and you see it start out with June, $600, 48% returns. It's a really good trading month. That's like really good trading month. And so that $600 turned into $886. Rolling into the next month of July, you ended up losing 0.064%. That rounds up to 1% essentially. But that number turns 886.71 into 881. That's basically a flat month. Nothing happened. Roll that into the next month of August, where you had a 47% return on the month. Really cool. That turns $881 into $1,293. Again, we started with $600. We're now at $1,293. That's over 100% in just 3 months. And call those ambitious and, really far stretched odds. That's still a very good return, even if you dropped it down a little bit. Then you go into September. September was the first actual big loss month. We ended up losing 26.04% on that month. So you turn those $1,200, $1,293 into $956.34. That brings us back down to a lot. Remember, we started with 600 and we're at 956. That's still over $300 in profit. That's over 50% in returns. October, 23% win. $956 turns into $1,175. That's really good. Moving it over to November, $1,175 into $1,463. Now we're getting up there, like really, really up there. $1,463, you end up having basically a flat month again, goes into $1,411. In the month of January, $1,411 goes into $1,742, and that's just on 23% monthly return. Remember, we started with $600, and then this is where the model ends up paying off big time, is that lots of times you'll have loss, win, win at an average rate of 150-ish%, 170% wins, and then on an average of a 60% loss. And generally the rates will continue that way. But it's a 2-hour binary option trade with no fixed outcome. And inherently the most you can lose on an option trade is 100%, the full contract value. The most you can win is essentially infinite. And I know a $30 contract's not going to turn into $1 million in just 2 hours. But a $30 contract can sure as hell turn into a lot more. Because in the month of February, we ended up turning a $27 contract into $487. That's ridiculous. And that $487 is essentially the whole entire account value that you started with in the whole entire month of June. So think about that, the scale of what it could have been. And that 1,700% win ended up boosting our month of February returns by like a mile. And so you ended up turning 1,742 into 4,233. Beforehand, at the end of the January month, the total return on the account from that initial $600 into 1,742 was around 290%. Round up to 300%. That's an insane return for any person. Then you put in the month of February, which was just one singular month. You ended up turning that $1,700 into 4,233. Now, I want to do a little bit of math here for you guys. In the month of February, when we had our 1,700% win, that was during a month where the starting account value was at $1,742. So with that 5% rule that we installed at the start of the inception of the account, that should be $87 in trading capital per trade. A significant increase from the trading capital that we started with $30, but again, a $40 difference, $50 difference, you wouldn't think much of it. We'll put that $87 times the return that you had on that Thursday, February 12th, where we hit 1,700% profit. Well, that turns your $87 into $1,479 in one trading day, and an account that was only alive for less than 10 months. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And it just goes to show that the scale of a day trading account, especially a cash account at a small amount, can be ridiculous. And there will be a ceiling. The amount of contracts that are traded on the options chain for the S&P 500 are limited. There's only so many. I think every single pair I see at least like 400 to 500 contracts being traded. Granted, if you were to trade, the full contract amount, you'd have more problems with filling your trade than you would actually the trade itself. And with that much capital, you're not doing options trading. Hate to break it to you, but if you're trading with options at $1 million account value, you shouldn't. That's stupid. My personal opinion. I don't have any financial advice to give you guys, but that's just the level of scale of a trading account that you could start right now if you want. So yeah, just a little yap session for me on the account's returns and its exponential growth. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Catch you guys later. Bye.